Hello and welcome back to Rubyvale Road. I'm Alexandra and today I am showing you a little video on the 7 things that you must know for sewing. So you know when we learn the ABCs and we learn our alphabet and then we can use all of those letters in the alphabet to spell whatever word that there is that exists. This is kind of like the 7 things you have to remember in your head all of the time when you're sewing and learning to sew. These are like those little processes that once you've been doing them forever, you don't even think about them and don't even think, oh, that's right, you need to tell people that you need to wash your fabrics and reverse stitch at the start and end and all those things. So I thought I'd put it all together in a video and hopefully just keep a little notes there. I know for me, it's taken me years and years to always be remembering, oh, that's right, I need to add seam allowance when I draft a pattern, or making sure that I iron every time I sew a seam. So these are all things that are really important and need to be stuck inside your head, so every time you go to sew you'll be doing them like snap of your fingers. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you think I've missed any, please let me know and leave a comment down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thank you so much and best wishes on all your sewing adventures.
First up, and one of the first things I ever learnt in sewing, always wash your fabrics before starting a project. This is vital to prevent shrinkage, especially when you are using different kinds of fabrics together. For example, a linen dress with a cotton lining. All you need to do is completely wet fabrics in cold water and leave to dry. You may wish to wash fabrics as soon as you buy them, or wait to wash them when you're ready to use them. Either way, don't forget to wash them. Second, we have to always remember is to add seam allowance. For whenever we take measurements and draft a pattern, we must remember to add the extra which will be left inside the seam. I always use 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, and for those of you who use inches, it's normally 5/8 of an inch. On your sewing machine, you will see on the plate the measurements conveniently there for you to line up the edge of your fabric with the engraved seam allowance. So it's easy to make sure that you always keep to your seam allowance. Thirdly, and something my grade 9 sewing teacher had a difficult time adapting my habits to, place and cut your pattern on the wrong side of the fabric. If you need to fold your fabric to cut your pattern, fold over with the right sides together so the wrong side is facing up. Then measure from the selvage to fold and make sure the distance is the same all the way along, so to make certain you are cutting on the straight of grain. Cutting on the wrong sides just makes it easier to mark the fabric with chalk or fabric markers so you can see those marks from the inside when it's time to sew. Fourth essential, remember to reverse stitch at the beginning and end of your seam. Unless you are sewing a gathering stitch or a dart, it is vital to secure your seams, so a little reverse stitch at the start and end makes a strong and secure seam. My tip is just count 1, 2, 3 when you start and then go back 1, 2, 3. Fifth essential, and probably the tip that everyone I've ever met who sews has told me. You must iron and press all your seams as you sew them. It is the best way to give your items a professional finish. To press a seam, iron the seam flat from the inside first and then iron from the outside by ironing over the seam. Taking 6th place on things you need to know is how to sew corners. These are very easy. When you approach a corner, stop at the width of your seam allowance from the edge. If you need to, use the hand wheel to roll your needle down into the fabric. Lift up your presser foot so you can turn your fabric around, then put down your presser foot and continue. Now we need to make sure the corner sits neat and sharp by cutting out a small square in the seam allowance at the corner. Don't cut your stitching though. Then remember the 5th essential, iron, and ta-da, a beautiful neat corner. And lastly to know is how to make curved seams sit flat. Curved edges definitely get easier to sew. For practice, make use of the seam allowance engraving on the plate to keep the edges of your fabric lined up as you move the fabric around while it feeds. When we turn this out the right way, you can see that the seam just does not sit flat and the stitching is sort of pulling the fabric, and it just makes for a really ugly, unprofessional look. So to help our seam sit nice and flat and our fabric be free and not pulling, first up we're going to trim the seam down by 0.5 centimeter, so it's only a 1 centimeter seam allowance inside, and then after that we are going to cut and snip little notches all through the seam. By folding the seam in half and then very carefully snipping on a slight angle, you can see that it's really easy to make the little notches, although they do create a huge mess of tiny triangles all over your sewing floor. Now we can see the seam sitting much better. To finish it off, of course, we're going to press our seam nice and flat on the inside and then turn it on the outside to press it. And if you're sewing curves for clothing garments that will be on the body, using a pressing ham or a firm cushion definitely help to keep the shape so that it will fit your body better. Because remember, your hips don't lie. So those are 7 essentials to know and remember when sewing. There is so much to learn about sewing, and for me, I am so excited to keep learning and to keep sharing. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much. Bye bye.